Today's Word of Faith, the opening of the gate. I know not how to present to you this glorious work better than by the following illustration. Suppose a vast graveyard surrounded by a lofty wall with only one entrance, which is by a massive iron gate, and that is fast bolted. Within are millions of human beings of all ages and classes, by one epidemic disease bending to the grave. The graves yawn to swallow them, and they must all perish. There is no balm to relieve, no physician there. Such is the condition of man as a sinner. All have sinned, and it is written, "The soul that sinneth, it shall die." But while the unhappy race lay in that dismal prison, mercy came and stood at the gate, and wept over the melancholy scene, exclaiming, "Oh, that I might enter! I would bind up their wounds, I would relieve their sorrows, I would save their souls." An embassy of angels, commissioned from the court of heaven to some other world, paused at the sight, and heaven forgave that pause. Seeing Mercy standing there, they cried, "Mercy, can you not enter? Can you look upon that scene and not pity? Can you pity and not relieve?" Mercy replied, "I can see." Through her tears she added, "I can pity, but I cannot relieve." "Why can you not enter?" inquired the heavenly host. "Oh," said Mercy, "justice has barred the gate against me, and I must not, cannot unbar it." At this moment Justice appeared, as if to watch the gate. The angels asked, "Why will you not allow Mercy to enter?" He sternly replied, "The law is broken, and it must be honored. Die they, or justice must." Then appeared a form from among the angelic band, like unto the Son of God. Addressing himself to Justice, he said, "What are thy demands?" Justice replied, "My demands are rigid. I must have ignominy for their honor, sickness for their health, death for their life. Without the shedding of blood there is no remission." "Justice," said the Son of God, "I accept your terms. On me be this wrong. Let mercy enter and stay the power of death. What pledge do you give for the performance of these conditions? My word, my oath. When will you perform them? 4,000 years hence on the hill of Calvary, outside the walls of Jerusalem." The bond was prepared and signed and sealed in the presence of attendant angels. Justice was satisfied, the gate was opened, and Mercy entered, preaching salvation in the name of the promised Messiah. The bond was committed to patriarchs and prophets. A long series of rites and ceremonies, sacrifices and obligations was instituted to perpetuate the memory of that solemn deed. At the close of 4,000 years, Justice and Mercy appeared on the hill of Calvary. "Where," said Justice, "is the Son of God?" "See him," replied Mercy, "at the foot of the hill." And there he came, bearing his own cross. Mercy retired, and stood aloof from the scene. Jesus ascended the hill like a lamb for the sacrifice. Justice presented the dreadful bond, saying, "This is the day on which this article must be cancelled." The Redeemer took it. What did he do with it? Tear it to pieces and scatter it to the winds? No, he nailed it to his cross. The victim ascended the altar. Justice called on holy fire to come down and consume the sacrifice. Holy fire replied, "I come. I will consume the sacrifice, and then I will burn up the world." It fell upon the Son of God, but when he cried, "It is finished," it expired. There was darkness over the whole land, and an earthquake shook the mountain, but the heavenly host broke forth in rapturous song. Thus grace has abounded, and the free gift has come upon all, and the gospel has gone forth, proclaiming redemption to every creature. By grace ye are saved, through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. By grace you are loved, redeemed, and justified. By grace you are called, converted, reconciled, and sanctified. Salvation is wholly of grace. The plan, the process, and the consummation are all of grace.